Musashi or Takezo gets he does crazy stuff too, right? He's young and he does crazy things. And one of the crazy things he does is his sister's in some kind of jail or something, and he just like attacks it, and he loses, and he gets arrested, and he gets put in prison for 3 years. And at this point, he's getting released from jail after he's been in jail for 3 years. And again, obviously, I just skipped 3 years of this guy's jail time, which actually is pretty short in the book. They don't spend a lot of time in jail, but he's been in jail for 3 years. He gets out, and he's having a conversation. And here we go. Takezo smiled silently. I want to wander about on my own for a while. And then Takwon, who's back, that's who he's having the conversation with, sorry. He says, you should change your first name too. Takwon interjected. Why not read the Chinese characters of your name as Musashi instead of Takezo? You can keep writing your name as the same as before. It's only fitting that everything should begin anew on this day of your rebirth. Miyamoto Musashi, it's a good name, a very good name. We should drink to it. The following day, they both left the castle. Musashi was taking his first steps into a new life, a life of discipline and training in the martial arts. During his 3-year incarceration, he had resolved to master the art of war. Explain the first last name thing. Miyamoto, that's a place, right? Or is it?
In this case, in many cases, it refers to originally a place. So my understanding is that Miyamoto refers to whether it's a town or a village or not province. It would be smaller, where his family originated from. That's not always the case, but even if you look at English names, you find the same thing, right? So it could have been in English, and in a lot of languages, it often relates to an early vocation. So Ferriss, for instance, comes from ferrous, like Ferrous, like ferrous oxide, iron, because way back in the day, at some point, my family worked with metals, and that's where the name comes from.
Is Miyamoto the first name or the last name?
Miyamoto is the last name. So similarly, the author of this book, Eiji Yoshikawa, the Yoshikawa is the last name.
But why do I say Miyamoto Musashi?
The Japanese always say the last name first.
Okay.
They say the family name first.
Except for in this guy's case, E.G.
So this is because it's been translated
English.
into English.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Making some progress
So
here.
for instance,
Very slow progress with Jocko. Intellectual capability maxing out. We're there.
Yeah, so in Japan, for instance, even as a young kid, when you're talking to your friends, you would never, I can't recall even once saying someone's first name. You would just say, Oi, Yamamoto, Tanaka. Like you would.
So I would call you Ferriss.
Yeah.
You would call me
In
Willick.
my case, because Ferriss was like not confusing, but they knew I was American, and Tim, like Timu, as they would say, was shorter, so they just called me Timu.
Yeah.
Timu-san.
Well, I mean, you get that in the military too, where everyone kind of gets introduced by your last name, and everyone, for a while, everyone just kind of calls each other, Willink, Ferriss, Charles,
Right.
So,
Yep.
but that's how they address each other pretty normally.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, with the exception of, say, in my host family, where I'm dealing with everybody who has the same last name. It would get very confusing. So then I would call them by their first names.
Check. All right.